some news. Last week you had some great news about the Google Notebook. So I'm assuming, and your notes also tell me, that we have more to talk about on that, an update.
Well, I mean, I only had an hour to play with it.
All week?
I haven't had. Well, no, before
right.
the
Okay,
last show.
I was gonna say this is not like Door.
Well, and I didn't have as much time as I wanted to play with it this last week, and that's because I sat at my work desk one day for well over an hour and a half, stalling other people who kept asking me to do work and pounding on that device and my Android phone. And it turns out all of the wireless tethering applications for Android devices, they use ad hoc mode for Wi-Fi. They don't use infrastructure mode. I don't know if they can, but I know the ones that I got, Barnacle and Wi-Fi Tether, both don't. And apparently the CR48 cannot connect to ad hoc networks.
Really?
Yeah. Shoot.
That majorly sucks.
Yeah, so it definitely left me a little upset, a little hurt,
Did you do enough research or any research on Google or whatever to find out if there is a infrastructure app for the Android phone?
I looked and no one even mentioned they did ad hoc.
It's just the way it is.
There was a couple of them that said they were able to. They didn't say ad hoc or they didn't say infrastructure, but they were all requiring USB connections, which meant you had to install something on the operating system, and you can't install anything on the CR48, so
gotcha.
That's out the window too. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it wouldn't shock me if this is Verizon, that's Verizon, and Verizon said somewhere in there you have to connect to only real Wi-Fi access points.
I don't think you have to be a conspiracist to come to that conclusion. I'm thinking that's quite logical and very rational and probable.
It wouldn't shock me with them, but I really had to dig for a good 40 minutes before finding someone stating that it only connects to real Wi-Fi, not to ad hoc. And then instantly I turned it back on again on the device, went to my work laptop, unplugged the Ethernet, turned on the Wi-Fi, saw it connected, bang, worked fine.
Damn. I'm surprised it took 40 minutes. That's the only reason is because the notebook's so new. That's the only reason. Probably this week or in a week after, it's going to be like #1 Google complaint.
Well, and the other thing that surprised me, but then I became a realist, was I looked for CR48 forums. You know, I would like to be in a community where the only discussion is this device, so it's easy to find things and learn things.
Right.
I couldn't find anything to that effect. I could find Chrome forums, but they focused a lot on, portable versions and things you can do on your operating system.
That is odd. I'm surprised about that as well.
The only thing I can think is it's too new and somebody didn't think about the SEO possibilities yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm actually right now I'm just on GoDaddy and I typed cr-48.com. Let's see if we can get it. It's already taken.
GoDaddy.
Yeah, I don't like to go there, but because this is a marketing situation, we could start the forums. We could start it right now.
I know. The only reason I really don't like using GoDaddy even for that is if you search for it and it's not found, they temporarily purchase it and lock it in for like 8 hours.
No, they don't.
I could have swore they were the main culprit who was doing that.
Have you tried it?
Honestly, this was 8+ months ago when I heard that.
Yeah, they can't do that. I mean, I don't think they're allowed to do that, first of all, and I suspected they might, but I've done a search for something and gone back and, well, not recently, but in the past I've done a search for something, gone back, and I was still able to get it.
Gotcha.
Like minutes later.
I thought it was them. It might have actually been Network Solutions, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
But I know somebody was doing it.
I'm not saying that GoDaddy has scruples. I'm saying that I don't think they do that. But
yeah.
All right. Well.
Good. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Me neither.
Now, a positive sign or positive thing about the CR48 is the battery life is friggin' silly.
What is it?
Honestly, I don't have a definite time in, but I can tell you, I took it to work, and for over 6 hours, the device was on. Most of the time, it was connected through Verizon, and it didn't go, I'm pretty sure it was still above 40%.
For how many hours?
So it was at least 5 or 6 hours.
Sweet.
So there's really no doubt in my mind this thing gets 8+ hours.
You know, you look at the size of that battery, it's the size of a small pizza, right?
Exactly. And, you know, there's not as many cycles being chewed up by background processes.
Right.
To do anything, really.
I wonder if this OS is lighter than Android.
I can tell you when I downloaded Android, Chrome x86, and I downloaded Android, the required amount of file space to install the operating system did require more on the Android, but it was like, I want to say 40 megs versus 80 megs. I mean, it wasn't much at all for either one.
Right. What do you mean you downloaded Android?
You can download, it's Android x86, and the Chrome was called Cherry.
And you could run Android on a PC?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. It's pretty cool.
I don't think it's up to 2.3. The last time I tried it, it was 1.5. That was when 1.5 was new. And I know they pushed it up to 1.6. And there was a genuine market on it to where you could go and browse stuff.
No kidding. That's pretty awesome. Is that a hacked version?
Not hacked per se. Android itself is technically open source. The difference, the way they do it differently, completely differently than everybody else's, they don't publish the code for people to do what they want with it until it's formalized and stamped being this is the final version, and until they start to roll it out.
Interesting.
So right now, you can go get Gingerbread and basically recompile it to meet your needs.
Do you think Google is happy they went this route with the OS as far as open source?
I think they have to be, because it adheres to one, I think, their core beliefs of making money, which is you never sell a product. You know, you sell a service or a platform. And their firm belief is the more people that use the internet, the more money they're going to make. The faster they make the internet, that's why they made the browser. The faster they make the internet, the more money they make.
Mm-hmm.
So their only goals is eyeballs, eyeballs, eyeballs.
Good point. Very good point, actually. Okay.
And since they control AdMob, they're pretty happy right now.
Yeah, they've been happy for a while.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Another plus I liked about the CR48 was the split second you connect to 3G service, you get a small inline pop-up. And I'm trying to recall what this is almost like certain AVs on Windows in its look, where you're just sitting there, it connects, and then a little box pops up in the lower left-hand corner, just slides up and says, you've used 38 megabytes out of 100 megabytes. You have 78 megabytes left, and then it just slides back down.
Oh, that's pretty neat. You know what? Maybe that's set to appear when you get close to your limit, and because you're always close to your limit with 100 mega. No, it's not.
I think the plan I chose made it so every time I connected to it.
Oh, well, that's neat.
Right. Now, the bad thing is, from my experience, which I can tell you, a guy downstairs used more than half of the 100 megabytes. I believe it would not notify you when you're getting low. It will just go and then say, you've used your 100 megabytes.
Okay. Have you used 100 megabytes?
I literally have, I think, 10 left. The CIO at my 9 to 5 found out I had one, and he asked me if I could bring it in so he could look at it.
And he looked at it, and he kind of took it away and started looking at it, and then gave it back to you with many megabytes depleted.
Well, no, that was the guy down in PC repair that heard I got it and basically came running up to my desk. You got it. Can I see it? Can I see it?
Oh,
Can I see
he
it?
took it. The guy downstairs. That's what you meant by the guy downstairs.
Yeah, and I said, you can see it. Go ahead. I'll come down a little bit and see it. Oh, cool. Thank you, man.
That's awesome.
And now actually the CTO, the Chief Technical Officer, found out about it, and he wants to see it. So tomorrow I'm going to bring it in so he can take a look at it.
Now, Dor, I mean, I guess that you are just being kind of thrifty with your amount of data here, because I would assume you would just use up 100 megabytes in a second.
Well, I didn't abuse it, and I tell you what, it seems like the major killer of all my megabyte usage is podcast and video podcast. At home, sure, YouTube is a main culprit, but on the device, I did like one night of normal surfing.
Yeah.
And I want to say I used like 20 megabytes. I'm surprised how low it was actually.
What's the cost for upping it?
$9.99 for 1 day of unlimited data. It was $10 for 1 gig, $20 for 2 gigs, $30 for 3 gigs. I'm 99% sure.
Are you going to up it at least to a gig? Have to, right?
Maybe after Christmas. We're going to have some bills here, Steve.
After Christmas is going to be a new month, basically.
No, my month starts January 21st.
Okay. Do you have a donation button on your site?
No.
Donate money to DorDorGeek@gmail. Is that your PayPal address?
Oh.
Buy Dor some gigabytes for Christmas, guys. Dor needs gigabytes.
Well, and I gotta say, the one thing I did not like about the device, I was borrowing the Walking Dead comic books from well-known websites, and I was downloading them on the Chrome device, the CR48, and then I wanted to upload them to the phone. So I stopped and thought, I don't know what to do. I don't know, how am I going to get the stuff back and forth? Because there's no file browser per se. If you go to a website that has a browse button to upload a file, it depends on what verbiage they use in that file, browse button. Sometimes you just get a one little window with just a list of files, and then you select and hit OK. Other sites, like Flickr, for instance, if you go there and hit upload, the whole screen shifts to the second desktop, and you get a full screen file browser. But I couldn't copy paste. Maybe I was doing something wrong.
Okay.
But I could see the USB drive when I stuck it in.
Huh.
In the terminal, the default terminal, there's no copy command. So that was out of the question.
Right.
So I was, how am I going to get this stuff off the device?
Right.
Downloading it to the device is pointless now. But then I went into the forums and somebody kicked me in my head and said, why don't you just use Dropbox?
Right.
Ah, genius. Yes, thank you very much. So I tried Dropbox, I tried Pogo Plug, and I tried WebKey. WebKey is an Android app you put in, then through your internet browser, you can browse to the device and copy, manipulate files back and forth.
And?
None of them worked right.
Really?
I would hit copy, or I would hit them, boom, boom, select the files, boom. And it started transmitting at such an incredible rate. The meter was going brrr, and then after like 20 megabytes, it went to like half speed. And then after it went like 10 more megabytes, it went to half of that speed. And then it just froze, locked up the upload. And then I tried to browse to something else on the internet, and it just didn't work. It just hung there. Couldn't understand what was going on. So I went to the alternate terminal. Ping does work, the command ping. So I canceled that, boom, boom, went into the other terminal, pinged my router, started the whole process over. All three of them, the ping froze. If anybody's accustomed to the ping command, you type ping, and in Linux, it automatically does infinite pings until you stop it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pinging something, you unplug the network cable, it takes like 5 seconds, and then it goes host not found or unreachable host or something to that effect, and then it will do that every 5 seconds again. It doesn't freeze. This froze.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no way of telling. I did submit it. I don't know if it's a hardware bug, like it's not being throttled and it's overheating. I don't know if it's a firmware issue on the card or if it's a software issue on the device. But something every time was stopping it from doing a upload, a quicker upload, I'll say.
Do you think it's something that was done on purpose?
I don't think it was done something on purpose. It wouldn't shock me if it's just lower end hardware in here.
I see.
And it just kaputs.
Really?
You know, after it gets too busy.
Well, that's not good.
No, but realistically, I would also say, if 1 million people bought this device, what percentage of people would be doing what I did? Downloading a large file and then using a tool like Dropbox, Pogo Plug, or WebKey to upload files off that device. Most people would just email. And here's the problem. Gmail on my phone, 99% of the attachments I get, I can't save the attachments. I can preview the attachment, but I can't save it to my phone.
Why not?
You can't. You can't. You get even pictures, and you open up your Gmail, and there's the attachment paperclip, and if there's a way to save it, then I'm just slow.
So do you mean that's just the nature of the Gmail app on the Android system?
Yeah.
I see.
There was 1 or 2 types that did let me save in the past, like APK files. It would let me do that.
Right.
Or maybe it was just intercepting the.
What if you use the mail client on the phone? Does that allow you to save instead of using Gmail?
I've never used another mail client, and honestly, I don't even know if one exists.
I'm pretty sure it does. I mean, you don't. Is yours like actually the Gmail app, or is it the mail app?
It's the Gmail app.
Okay, I use the Gmail app too. They do come with mail ones, so maybe see with that. Who knows? You got to configure them with pops and everything.
It was just one of those things that just caught me off guard really bad. So then eventually I just emailed them to myself. And I went to my computer, got them off my computer, my laptop, and then I web keyed into the phone and transmitted them that way.
So it did work that way. They did upload that way.
But from the CR48 to my laptop to my phone.
Right. It wouldn't go right to the phone.
Yeah. It's just one of those things I can't explain. Maybe other people will talk about it soon. I don't know.
I would report it to Google.
No, I did.
Okay.
I did. And when I only did it with like 20 megabyte files, it seemed like it was okay. Once I went above like 30 something, it started doing that.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know, we can't have everything.
That's why you're a beta tester, man. You're doing your job.
I'm trying hard, and I'm convincing myself still I'm not going to blank the operating. Well, I found out something else. There's a dev mode.
Okay.
Flick a switch, magic switch, point fingers together, and it will reboot into development mode, which will first wipe the entire device,
right?
Which really just removes the accounts. You have to log back in, first time setup, and then you have complete access to the terminal, to the real terminal, to where you have a full set of commands. But I'm trying to also hold off on that for at least 3 months to just experience like this as long as possible.
As a normal person, like a normal person.
Right. And then 3 months I'll do that, and then maybe 3 or 4 months after that I'll actually take Chrome off, put Ubuntu on so I can finally connect to a ad hoc network.
And say, this laptop is now mine.
Yes, the only question is going to be is, will I still have 3G support? I don't know.
Ooh, would there be an app that could control the 3G?
Well, I can tell you, historically, from what I know about 3G cards in devices, it's based upon like the MAC address of the card. It doesn't matter what is driving it, as long as that unique network identifier matches what Verizon has, then it will let the connection go through.
So technically it should work.
Fingers crossed.
You got a couple more months for that anyway.
Yeah, and I'm going to be patient. And I got to say, the device is very slick, very smooth. I'm still getting used to the 2-finger stuff on the mouse. The mouse pad is so big, I literally find myself accidentally touching it with 1 finger and then doing something. What the hell is it doing? And then I look down and I'm accidentally touching with 2.
You have to come into the Mac world and get used to that. You will enjoy that touchpad shortly.
honestly, I already find myself on my other devices taking my 2 fingers and trying to scroll, and it ain't scrolling.
I know. 2 fingers is the way to go on scroll. Wait till you get to 3. Does it have 3-finger gestures?
Didn't mention it. What would be a 3-finger gesture?
Forward and backwards on web pages. It's awesome.
How? 3 and then what?
3 to the right, forward. 3 to the left, back. It's awesome.
I don't think it does.
I bet you it does. I'll bet you it does.
Like, tap it like a piano, bing, ding, ding.
And you can put your 3 fingers anywhere on the pad as long as you bring them all to the right.
No.
No forward and back. Okay.
Or it could be me because
And on Apple, you can do 4-finger gestures too. I'm not kidding.
Dude, that's too confusing.
It makes your whole desktop appear with 4 fingers up and down.
Expose.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention about the App Store is a lot of people are screaming that most of them are just bookmarks. While technically that is probably true, a good, for instance, is Plants vs. Zombies.
Okay.
Which I kind of actually like the game, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it's not just bash the monkey like Angry Birds.
No. This, you have to do more than just let go.
Okay.
Yeah, not much more, mind you. Not much more at all. But the difference is on the page when you go there, I never saw a full screen button on the game. If you install it as an app, it's full screen.
As a web app.
As a web app. So there is different things going on versus a web app from a bookmark for more than a couple of the sites.
Oh, good. That's great.
The bad thing, I install the app and then I go to Plants vs. Zombies and it's in Spanish. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
That's why you're a beta tester.
Exactly.
It all comes back to the beta.
Right. And the kids' games, I can say 99% of the ones I have my son play with, they were literally nothing more than flash bookmarks.
Right.
The only one that wasn't is a very interesting, I'll say, thing called Kid Mode. Oh, man. Give me a second. I did this something goofy.
Kid Mode.
Kid Mode for Chrome. This is not a game. This is a gateway, a portal. You launch it, and then your kid has multiple activities he can do. Watch videos, play little games, a whole bunch of little things. But the thing I found very interesting about it is when you launch it, it actually launches a pop-up window. It doesn't load a full screen window, which is the first thing I've seen, not a full screen anything.
Oh.
Is this.
Huh.
And the games are very, most of the ones labeled as educational were like spot the differences in the pictures.
Okay.
I wouldn't call them educational. But the golf game, very nice, very smooth.
Really?
Yeah. And I actually own a pair of clubs somewhere, but that tells you how often I go play.
Well, that does. It's a whole different ball game.
It literally, with a bent stick. It was enjoyable. I'm not really a golf nut.
Yeah.
I think if I would find real enjoyment in the game. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm curious to try it. I love playing. Me and my dad used to play a lot on Xbox, Lynx and Tiger Woods and stuff like that. So I'm into them on video games. I never actually went golfing for real, but that's why I am curious to see how it acts in the browser.
Right. Well, I'll say Tiger Woods on the consoles got to be such a good experience with the flick motion. Yeah. It's hard to repeat that on a trackpad.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely have high hopes for the games, and I think alternate devices, iPhones, Android tablets, are broadening the ideas of game developers, and I think they're going to do some interesting things.
Yeah, in the browser. Yeah, it'll be interesting. This is a Google only thing. Trying to just do everything from the browser like this. They're really trying to lead the way on this. I mean, you don't see. You get I get the idea from other companies that they're like, all right, let's just see. I don't think the other companies think that's going to work, where people like to do everything from the browser. But Google really has this vision. I could feel it, and I'm curious to see how it turns out. And I think they're headed in the right direction, honestly.
Yeah, and I can tell you, the normal people I know, as long as they can get on Facebook and track what the situation is doing, they'll be happy.
Great. Hey, Dor.
You know?
I agree. Last thing I wanted to ask you on this. Are you taking this thing all around and just pimping this thing, or what?
Oh yeah. First, 5 days it took it to work, and I felt like, just walking down the hall.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I was just curious. I would do the same thing.
And I had two guys I know. As soon as they saw me, from like 80 feet away, you got the chrome netbook, you fag. Let me see it.
That's great. I thought so. I was just curious. Good job.
Well, and it turns out one of them got the Nook, the color Nook.
How is it? I was curious about that as well.
I haven't seen it. He said he got two of them, one for his wife for Christmas and one because he heard you could hack it. Hacked it, installed Android. He said it runs Angry Birds beautifully.
No
he said to me.
way.
Yeah.
I might not get the Galaxy Tab, and get that thing.
Well, okay. You got to first stop and think. The screen itself is gorgeous. It is virtually identical, they said, very close to the iPad material, screen, everything else. The processor in it is the same processor in my phone.
That's not bad.
So expect phone type
response.
Lag. Yeah, I don't want to say lag, but speed.
From an e-reader device, I expect Kindle. I mean, I'm used to Kindle speed. So, hey, if a Droid X processor, I think that's good.
Yeah. I begged him to either bring it in or let me know more about what it can and can't do.
How's the battery life? Do you have any idea?
He made it sound like with the regular Nook stuff, forever, and with the Android stuff, he said he watched a 2-hour movie on it, and it was still above 40%, I think he said.
Damn.
Which, that impresses me, because movies suck everything.
Yeah.
Cycles, memory usage, screen colors, screen transitions, screen brightness.
No kidding. That's really... hey, for a fourth of the price of the Tab, it might be worth it.
The only disadvantage, no 3G, which he said, of course, I don't care.
I really don't want to pay the Sprint plan, so we'll see. It can, so it's Wi-Fi. I could just use wireless tethering from my Evo, right? Technically?
Maybe.
We'll see if it doesn't follow the same pattern as the...
Well, I know for a fact an Android device can Wi-Fi tether to another Wi-Fi Android device. That I know for sure.
Should be able to do it then.
Yeah, because I had my coworker disable his 3G and connect to mine.
I'm going to check that out. I think Best Buy's open until 11 tonight. I might be heading over there tonight. They're supposedly have the color Nook in stock. So.
Well, and here's the best thing about Best Buy. If you buy it, if you pwn it, if you root it, and if you ROM it, and if you don't like it, you can just put it back in the box and take it back. They ain't going to turn it on.
Exactly. And they would not know what to do with it if they did.
Yeah. They would just see, oh, something came on the screen, it works. Turn it off.
All right.
Right. Another huge plus, you can then run the Kindle Market on the Nook.
That'd be sweet.
Kindle, to me, is the one, because it works on everything.
Yes. Yeah, it was so smart of them to do that. It really was.
I concur.
All right. We done with the Android stuff?
Yeah. I just wanted to get that in there. As I find out more things about the CR48, I'll let them know. We're not going to be devoting this much time as weeks go on. It was just, new.
It's
fresh.
special. Yeah, exactly. Special.
Yeah. Just like my mama said, special.
Extenuating circumstances.
Exactly. Next thing I wanted to basically cover, and I know it's a little bit late, but I wanted to talk about Linux for the Christmas season or the holiday season, to be more politically correct. And I'm sure everybody has seen the YouTube video from years ago with the first guy that put a webcam in front of his house and he had his Christmas lights synchronized to music. Well, I'm happy to say he's using Linux now to power his entire setup. He has Google AdWords on that site, and he is donating all of the money he makes off of that to Celiac.
Who?
Celiac.
What's that?
I knew you were going to say that. It is a genetic disorder affecting children and adults. People with this disease are unable to eat foods that contain gluten.
Gotcha. Celiac disease. Okay, I see.
Right.
I see.
So, like my uncle, he's mad because there's certain beer he can't drink.
Right.
Actually, virtually all beer he can't drink.
So this is a Linux system that controls Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm. And now, I'm going to say, the real system that's doing this is not even a computer. That's the beautiful thing about it. All it is
X10?
is you use X10 and an audio output from a speaker stereo sound system.
Huh.
When it hits a certain voltage, it then turns on the X10 or turns off the X10. That's how certain parts of the equalizer affect certain lights. It's different kinds of speaker settings.
Oh, neat.
You know, like the bass speaker, you take that wire off and now it does bass lights. But he is using Linux on the webcam and on the web server and the web hosting. He said he wanted to do everything that he could open source. And his name is, I can never remember his name.
Kamamitsky.
Yes, him.
What's Alec Kamamitsky.
Right. And this was the guy that really made it popular, the one where he first actually did it and it was fake. He had a still image, and then he had the lights being separate images, and then he had the music changing them. But after it was found that it was fake, he insisted he was going to do it. And he now has virtually his entire street strung up to the same system. So as you drive down the street, all of the lights are going with the sound of the song.
That's, my parents in the town they just moved into, somebody did it on their street. And it's actually tuned to a radio station. So he's got a big sign up that says, tune to 93.3 and watch all the lights. And so you tune to a certain radio station and they all blink in to the music. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool and it's easy. This is the essence of hacking. I'll say that. And I linked to a Instructable posting where if you don't know about Instructable, I mean, even if you can't glue two things together and get them to stay straight, it's a good site to go visit just to see some things other people are doing, and you really can learn about things that you could do, and it costs next to nothing.
Yeah. Instructables is a killer site. I used it to make electronic drums once. Awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah. I really wish I had a little bit more time on my hands because I would just thoroughly enjoy doing this Christmas lights thing. Now I'll say how a computer can be added to it. For instance, you have Santa out front of your house. You have a little sensor detecting motion. You could have it when it triggers go back to a computer with a simple script via X10 saying, okay, it's in the morning. Santa will go, ho, 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 good morning. Or if it's after December 25th, he could say, I hope you had a Merry Christmas if you get a computer involved. The one site I got to mention I didn't know about, it's called linuxha.com. I honestly do not know how new this is, how old this is. I've never seen it before. This has a lot of good information on the hardware and the software that's really needed to do home automation. It's not a fancy looking site. I know.
So it's the opposite of X10.
Yeah, and there's no screenshots. I know. Sorry. But it does say it supports CM11A, CM17 Firecracker, X10, Linux10, WM918, HCS2, and CPUXA. And if you know what they mean, good on you.
They're apparently home automation devices.
Yeah, they're like protocols or technologies used for home automation.
Okay.
The same protocols and services where people will easily charge you $60,000 to come in and do the same thing to your house.
This is very cool. Ugly as hell, the site is, by the way. Ugly.
I know. And
it's flesh colored.
I was going to say, what would you call that color?
It's flesh.
It's just bad.
But it looks like the information's good on it.
Yeah. And right on that main site, they have a direct link. And to be honest, I found this book on my own. I didn't even look at the ad because I never look at ads on sites. But it's Linux Smart Homes for Dummies.
I see that. It's pretty killer.
I've only glanced through one or two Dummies books. They seem not bad.
They're not.
They never go deep into anything, but they always get you at least part of the way into stuff.
Yeah, it depends. Because they're all written by different authors. They really are. I bought Blender for Dummies, and it was a good book.
Right. I
still can't use Blender, by the way.
Blender, rocket science.
Blender and Dummies should not be used in the same sentence.
Right. 1 second, Steve. I don't want to cough in your ear.
Okay, I paused the recording.
Okay, sorry.
You back?
Yeah, and I'm really happy to know my appendix is on my right side because I have pain on my left side. I'm not a hypochondriac, I swear.
I believe you.
Okay.
Hope you're all right.
Yeah, I am. I'm just fat and old.
All right, what else we got?
I wanted to just continue on with the topics that were in this book.
Oh, cool.
Did you already hit record?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. The topics in the book sound to me to be great jumping off points to get things rolling. Building a wireless network, creating and setting up a weather station, automate your TV and sound system, spy on your pets while you're not home, set up an answering system that actually knows what to do with your calls, and increasing your home security.
Sweet.
I know it is one of those things that will seem overwhelming to anyone, but just like anything else, the first time I changed the brakes on my car, let me tell you something, it was overwhelming.
Sure.
I had no idea what I was doing. I swore any second a piece of, like a whole top part of my finger is going to come shooting off.
Right.
You know? After the first time, much easier. After the second time, pretty easy. After the third time, no problem whatsoever.
Huh.
If you have an old box sitting around and you have any inkling to look into this at all, I honestly think this is a good start.
A good start into Linux or a good start for home automation?
For home automation, I'm willing to bet 99% sure you really don't need to know anything about Linux per se. You're going to have to know more about how the applications work and how the technology of X10 or whatever protocol you use works.
So you're basically saying follow the Get the Dummies book.
Yeah, because I honestly believe it will tell you download like Linux MCE, which is another distribution really geared towards home automation and other systems. Download Linux MCE, buy this hardware, buy that hardware, plug this hardware into your wall jack, go to your light switch, take it off, pull out the light switch itself, put this on there, put it back in the wall. I believe it takes you pretty much step by step like that. And I think it's one of those things, once you set up one or two things, you'll have a little light bulb, sorry for the pun, go off in your head to where it will start to make more sense.
Sure.
And I honestly knew a pretty good friend, I like to say, Peter64. He's down in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He does a little bit of home automation, and he insists it is not complicated. He said it is fun.
I can imagine. You know, I'm totally with you. Once you get started on this, you start to get some ideas, and then you just kind of let your imagination just go wild with them, and you're like, oh wait, I could do this, I could do that, I could install this in the window and all this crap.
Yeah, and I mean, you could go to as far as doing proximity detectors with RFID or with Bluetooth, or even with wireless connections to your network. So technically your Android devices in your car, you have Wi-Fi turned on. When your phone with that MAC address connects to your Wi-Fi spot, your server sees that connection and uses a electronic lock and unlocks your front door.
Oh, that'd be really neat.
And I can tell you,
unless it malfunctions.
well, if you break it down into bite-sized components, it's almost the same as you say, I clap my hands and my lights turn on. It's just, the clap is the connection.
Right.
It just watches for that connection. You could just have an endless ping going to that thing, and then the electronic switch on your door is just like a light switch. It's just a power on off.
Huh.
Nothing more, nothing special.
The possibilities seem endless.
They are only stumped by two things: your time and your money. Because this is all hardware related. The software side, everybody I've known who done this says it is the simplest part.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And my dad has some X10 stuff. It's not that expensive. You get a nice little kit for I think under $100. I'm not sure.
I know the guy said he was able to put the door lock, the doorbell, and the camera on his house with the box in the back for less than, I want to say it was $500.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then from his portable device, he was able to get notified from the doorbell, hit the button, and a speaker and a microphone. He got notified from the doorbell to hit his phone, see out of the camera, and then talk to the person. And if it's UPS, say, okay, I'm in the backyard, just bring it into the house and put it on the table, please. And then he could sit there and watch and see the UPS guy come in the door, and then like 30 seconds later walk out the door. When the guy left, he hit a button, the door locked.
That's so awesome. I love it.
That is very Inspector Gadget-esque, I'll say.
Yeah, it's just badass.
Yeah. I want to encourage people play with home automation. That is one of the things I asked for Christmas, which I know I'm not going to get, was just a little bit of a budget to do some kind of home automation stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. I hope you do get it.
I'll probably get a leaf blower or something. something to do housework.
It sucks.
I know. I want to then change subjects and say, preceding this, I know this is late. I know I'm late. I'm a slacker. But I'll say, you get that Samsung DVD player, or, you get that Harmony remote control for your device, or, you get some new windshield wipers for your car, whatever it is. Take it back. Take it back. Get your money. Then you should go to podnutz.com/newegg, podnutz.com/Amazon, or podnutz.com/eBay, and look for some of the stuff I'm going to mention upcoming.
Okay, cool.
Had to get that in there. And I'm really upset at myself. I didn't say that back December 1st or.
Don't be upset with yourself. I didn't either.
I know. Somebody said it in the forums.
I saw that.
Oh!
I know. That's okay. That's okay. I'm doing good with those links, and I appreciate everybody who's using them. So.
Yeah, but you can always do better. First thing I wanted to mention, I'm honestly not sure what to think of it. Partially because I just got a new watch, which is really geeky, and I really like. And I can use it to find my way through the dark. So if we get attacked by zombies, I'll at least see something.
Looks like Tetris.
Yeah, I know. The first link is to a Engadget article, and we should have heard of Fossil watches and stuff because they're actually pretty popular.
Yeah.
Well, they've made a smartwatch that can connect wirelessly to your BlackBerry or Android device.
And do what?
You can see information like location, weather report, email count, SMS count.
Oh, wow.
Missed calls, stuff like that. And I'm sure it's moderately programmable. It isn't completely out yet. Fossil stated it will be out very shortly. They were unsure of the name. I believe it's called Connected. It's still new, still early, but I like the idea of my phone can be on the charger and I can see that droid I heard It's in SMS, you know.
Right. Or I like the Gmail thing. I wonder if you could read your emails through it.
It wouldn't shock me if it's that far away from being able to do it. It also wouldn't shock me if it's $200, it's going to be rarer. But if it's cheaper, I could see people, no doubt, taking the back off that thing, finding a socket, plugging something in, and customizing that. And it wouldn't shock me if Fossil wouldn't, I don't want to say encourage it, but encourage feedback to where, you know, you can help them make it a better device. It will also tell you your battery status.
That's totally dependent on the company. I mean, you never know that's just, who knows what they're going to do. Some companies love that. Some companies hate it.
I know. Yes, for that show. Yeah, you're right. Right. Right.
I'll tell you, there's not much happening on the screen though. I don't know how much you can hack this thing. It's just it's I guess original LCD, like 2-color,
right.
Like original LCD watch where it was just black and gray.
Right.
But still cool.
I think it's interesting. I hope it starts a small trend, but it's going to be Linux powered because Linux is portable, scalable, dynamic in that range.
Okay.
So that's real cool. The next link I wanted to talk about, just because it's a popular topic this time of year, is Android tablets and Android devices. I do believe they're only going to get more popular, and there's a good Wikipedia page that lists right now the insane number of Android tablets. I know from an individual standing back, you might think there's like 5 types of Android tablets.
Yeah, there's a lot, hey?
Oh yeah, there's at least, I'd say, 50.
Yeah, we'll post this link in the show notes. But basically, if you go on Wikipedia and you type "comparison of Android devices," you will get the article. I see the Arco 7 in here, and it just reminded me they're practically giving that away at Best Buy now.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, it sucks so bad, and number two, no one's using it. But
and it's running Android 1.5. Yeah.
They're giving away all the crappy Android tablets. They came drastically down in price, like the crappy ones. We're not talking like the Tab or whatever. The ones that they usually sit over by the MP3 players. They're just basically giving them away. They're just crap. So and we all realized it, and they know it, and now they're just trying to get rid of them. So,
right. So I'm happy you waited as long as you did.
Yes.
Yeah. Next one to talk about, and I did mention it once before, and it's only because I can't find it anywhere for sale. Its technical name is a SEMC 5701B.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Its nickname is the Space Cube. It's a 2x2 by 2 inch Linux computer.
Wow, look at that thing. I don't remember you talking about this. This is super badass.
I think I mentioned it, but only in passing on one of the shows. I didn't go into any detail. Now, 2x2 by 2 inch. It doesn't have an NVIDIA Radeon ATI card in it, okay?
If one would suspect it would, then they have no place buying the thing.
Right. Well, and at the same token, it doesn't have an i7 quad-core 3 gigahertz processor. 2x2 by 2. 2x2 by 2. That's all it is.
Is it workable? Does it work at all?
I honestly believe if you go into it with a purpose, it is good. It is real good. It is only a 300 megahertz processor on it, which tells me it would be a perfect print server or internal web server, or like a single task device for the inside of your house,
right.
or like a SSH server handling the gateway from the outside to the inside. And I love the fact you can just take it with you.
I love this thing. It's the size of an apple.
Literally.
This is really cool. How much is it?
Can't find it anywhere for sale, Steve.
And
it really gets my goat something. I don't know.
We'll find one. We will find one.
Yeah, and the actual manufacturer is basically a contractor for the Japanese, I believe it is, space program. So
Really?
this is something they intend to be a swappable device for something else, like a smaller part of something big.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean, I think it's cool that it runs on its own. What distribution does it run? Or,
I'm sure nothing. It comes with nothing. I'm sure you can put Debian on it. Debian seems to be one of the most versatile Linux distros there is. I know there's no doubt in my mind it can run things like DSL Linux, SLIDAS, or Puppy.
okay.
Yeah, because those three will work on virtually anything you can get your hands on with 64 megabytes of RAM, kind of thing.
That's awesome. I love that one.
Yeah. The next 4 devices I wanted to roll through quicker. One is called Open Pandora. This device is definitely a niche device, I'll say, because number one, it's over $300. So it's a little bit pricey. The size of the screen is the same size as a Droid X or a Evo screen, to give you an idea of how big this is. It only has a little bit of room on each side of the screen, and it folds like a Nintendo DS. The thing I like about this is the dual pads on it, so you can literally do PlayStation-style gamings or Xbox-style gamings. It runs emulators for like MAME and other things like that. So it's really meant to be a portable gaming device for those kind of games.
So it's meant for gaming.
Yeah. It does have a full QWERTY keyboard. The other thing I like about it, it has dual SD cards on the front.
Yeah, I see that. That's awesome.
So you could have 32 gigabytes.
Dual SD cards.
Slots.
That's badass. That is the selling point. Dual SD cards. Nothing has dual SD cards.
Right. And it has 10 hours of battery life.
Sweet.
Yeah. To me, very good device. The only shortcoming I'll say it has, true shortcoming has in my book, is it has no wireless and networking, but it has BG.
That's still good.
Yeah, so you should be fine. The processor isn't blazing, but if you're doing these kind of games, even Nintendo games, N64 games, PlayStation 2 games, you got to remember those things are designed to be as cheap as possible realistically. Even the 360 and every game system, they're designed to be as cheap as possible, but to get the bang out of the buck. So you don't need a lot of processing power most of the time.
So really 600 megahertz should be plenty for all that stuff.
Honestly, this thing actually has a separate also 430 megahertz video chip that can do OpenGL 3D.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, so there's no doubt in my mind this device could tackle a lot of those games with no issue.
That's pretty neat. I wonder how many they're going to sell.
They're doing them in small lots because it's only a 5-man operation, I believe.
Yeah.
So the more they sell, the more popular they get, the quicker they'll be able to make them, the more they can mass produce them. You can right now go pre-order for the second batch. Once they have enough pre-orders, then they'll charge your account and start making them.
Very cool. It looks like a DS on super steroids.
Exactly.
It looks like a badass DS.
Yeah. The next one, I honestly can't remember who in the Podnutz Lounge bought one maybe 8 months ago. It's called a GP2X Wiz. This was one of the devices I was really tempted to look at really hard on getting. This really shines at doing older arcade games and NES, Super NES level of games. It's only $99. That's the big selling point with this thing.
They got Crystal Castles on that thing loaded up.
Yeah, that's one of the games I can't stop playing. The only bad thing about it is unless you know about emulators and stuff like that, when you get the device, it's virtually pointless because there is only 2 games built into it, and they're not that good. So you have to download a emulator, then you have to download the ROMs for the emulator to play the games. But I can say the guy that bought it said he was a little bit dissatisfied in it. It had one bug that was widely known playing Street Fighter 3 that upright was a little glitchy. He said, but besides that, he said the games ran so smooth, he was amazed.
Really?
Yeah. He said to him it did have like a nostalgia type thing where he was playing it and then he would put it down for like a month and not touch it and then pick it up and play it for a little bit for like a couple days and then put it down for a month and not touch it.
Right.
So if you feel like taking a chance on $99, I think this is well worth the investment.
Yeah, it's worth it for $99.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have a child coming of age, you play it and then do what you want with the kid. You know, one a little bit more pricey, but also a little bit more versatile is the Nokia N810. And besides, I forgot, Open Pandora, GPX2Wiz, Nokia N810, everything I'm mentioning runs Linux at the core, which means like on the Nokia N810, you can install NT Droid, it's called, which is Android. Go figure. You can install it on the Nokia N810 or the Nokia 800 device. In America, it really never became popular, but Nokia came out with a Nokia N810 WiMAX edition, which if everybody doesn't know, that's technically what the Sprint 4G network is. It's WiMAX, which then turned into Clear. So you technically could get one of these with cellular service, with data service.
Really? On a Sprint plan?
No. It was on I'm trying to remember the name of the company. It was only in limited areas. It was called Exome, and now it's called Clear. So if you have Clear internet service, the title, the name, the vendor, Clear, you could technically get this and have it running. The problem with this device is you buy one new, and it's like $370.
Yeah.
The good thing is, though, you go to eBay, you can find them for just over $100.
That's more like it. It was in the age of Android smartphones. This thing is just doggy-like. It's a dog.
Yeah. I'll say I definitely enjoyed the device. The device was built to last. It took a beating.
You had an N810?
I still have an N810. This was a device I would throw.
Yeah.
Say, see, it lasts. The screen was the screen that when you went out into the sunlight, it turned black and white.
Right.
This device definitely had certain things about it that I really liked. I really, honest to God, liked and enjoyed. The processor was just a touch slow. That was the only bad thing about it. But I had a lot of
slide-out keyboard?
Yep, full keyboard.
Neat. I had the 710, I think.
Gotcha.
And that was just that. This is definitely an improvement off that.
Right. Well, I'll say it again. To me, the only real shortcoming was the processor speed. Doing certain things, you had to sit there and wait for 30 seconds plus.
Right.
The other thing I couldn't figure out about this friggin' device, you would open it up, fresh install. It had a camera on the front looking at you.
Right.
There was not a single piece of software in the official Nokia repo to use the camera.
Sorry, Dora. I went to your next link. There was nothing in the repo to use the camera.
Nothing. It was like it didn't exist. Nothing to see here. What are you talking about?
So basically, you couldn't use the camera was useless
unless you knew what you were doing or you spent time to dig. All you have to do is Google search Nokia N810 repos, and you would find a page very quickly, like first or second link, that literally had like 60 repos you could one click add to your device. For instance, one of them was called N810 wireless hacks, where you would get like air crack and air snort and all these kind of things. One called hacks that would just take other applications and just dump them on the phone. If you went there and did that, you would find a large amount of applications would be open up to you. Some of them you even heard of before, like Firefox, Thunderbird, I believe, was on there. Pigeon was on there. and it really made it a lot more fun to use. Some of the apps were not the quickest, but they were still fun to use. You could even get free turn-by-turn GPS navigation programs for it.
Huh.
They weren't sharp as a real GPS or even an Android turn-by-turn GPS. They worked. I'll say that.
Okay.
And of course, the last device I have to mention, Steve.
I know. I went to the website and they started blasting me with music.
I know. That's why I love Flashbox. You know what I mean? No chance that happened. Is the Zipit Z2. This is like the I live in a van down by the river budget of Linux portable devices.
I just cannot believe this thing actually runs Linux.
It literally, you can get them on eBay new for $10.
I can't believe it runs Linux for that price.
I'll say nothing on the device was gorgeous. Nothing on the device was snappy, response time.
But it worked.
But it worked. It really worked. I was able to, on that device, sit there and do a SSHX session into my laptop computer and then type Firefox, and on that little screen, Firefox would launch.
To me, is amazing.
Yeah, and honestly, I had a lot of fun with that. I basically use it as a portable Wi-Fi sniffer. I would go to a customer's house, pop it, boom, you have open Wi-Fi. It's going to cost you money. I'll lock it up.
That's awesome.
But it was fun. The best thing about the device was if you bricked it, if you broke it, if you stepped on it, if your 2-year-old shoved it down his poopy diaper, who cares? Throw it away.
For that price, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, I agree. The next link I'm going to talk about, I honestly don't know how new, how old, how updated this is. The original posting is from 2003, but I can tell you many new Android devices are still linked from this page. It's called linuxfordevices.com is the main site, and they have so many links to so much gadget stuff. You might have Geekgasm, I'll say. The amount of stuff on this page, this stuff is crazy. From mobile phones, of course, number one on the list because that's most popular. PDAs, PMPs, PNDs, and other handhelds. I don't even know what the other two are. Linux MIDs, UMPCs, and tablets. Linux netbooks and mini notebooks. Linux IP phones, which technically you can get a phone that's the same form factor as a cell phone, but it only does IP VoIP calls, which means anytime you run across the open Wi-Fi hotspot, you just turn your phone on and you can make a call. Linux robots, audio and video devices like the Boxy Box, for instance. Linux gateways, servers, routers, networking equipment. Linux thin clients, other Linux devices. It keeps going.
Wow.
It keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going.
Very cool.
If you just want to look at the range Linux can do subcomputer devices, honestly, you're going to be in awe how much stuff exists and you don't even know about it.
Right.
I mean, Richard Stallman doesn't know the full amount of stuff that exists out there. And like I say, I found more than a couple things via this site that really just tweaked my interest in, like, man, if I hit the lotto, my wife would have to block this page.
That's so awesome.
So I'll just go in here every week, spend a couple $100.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Very cool devices. A lot of them really get your geek on, I'll say.
Yeah, I know. Especially the robot stuff I was looking at is really out there.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a very, to me, unbiased site as well, because I'll say they even mention stuff like the Amazon Kindle, and I don't think they're looking for mouse clicks because the Kindle is not on the top of the list
Right.
for those devices. They just put stuff on as it comes around. It looks like just keep pounding on. So yeah, and I believe I saw one of these devices in Tron Legacy. Now that I look at it,
Was that a good movie?
do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Why can't they make a good movie these days?
Because everything has to be politically correct. What I remember from the original Tron, you got a guy who liked to party, who was in it for the money. He wanted to make the best game he could to rule the world, become stinking rich. Well, in this movie, he's like the hippy dippy weatherman where he wants everything free, man. And he like occasionally would just go into a Zen position. I'm thinking, that's not Flynn.
Right.
That's not the Flynn I remember. The Flynn I remember wanted to crush people. Special effects were outstanding. And the only part of the movie that I felt let down with was they let you believe the actual character Tron was killed. Come to find out, he isn't killed. He's behind a mask. He's one of the head henchmen who was turned because, you know, brain control kind of thing, whatever. But they never let you see his actual face. And I got to say, the special effects for Jeff Bridges looking young, it was weird because, like, out of a 30-second shot, you would have 4 times of like 2 seconds where it looked really good and believable and credible.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, it looked like a 13-year-old was doing special effects.
No. Really?
You know, there were spots where it just looked completely fake and bad. And if I was directing it, I would have said, that's unacceptable. I can't show that.
No way.
Unless their logic is, well, we want to show that it's an imperfect, you know. I don't believe it. I think it just looked like crap and they couldn't fix it.
That's great. Well, thanks. I did read a couple reviews on IMDb, and it looks like just a purely special effects movie, no substance or plot.
Zero. If you've never seen Tron before, go see it. I think you'll love it. You know, because you have no idea what was actually going on in the past. Right. And honestly, acting wise, the main character, I think he actually did pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Just the story was
crap.
So PC, it was ridiculous.
Damn, it sucks.
Yeah.
Now let's get on to some heavy, you know, geeky stuff, like real manly stuff, right?
Exactly.
That's what's next, right?
Yes. If you are the man of the house and you want to affirm your manhood, but you have a 6-year-old daughter, you need to go to this next link, which is Barbie, I Can Be a Computer Engineer Dial to help encourage your kid to get into computers.
This is awesome. She's like a Geek Squad employee.
Yes, she is. And I just got to say, if I had a little girl, I think I would try to get her that.
That is pretty super awesome. She's got a pink laptop. Looks like a Vio ripoff, and she's holding a device, which is an iPhone, when it has a nice pink case around it. And she's got a computer case, her computer toolkit. Designer, of course.
Right, and she has like headphones on or something, I think.
Oh yeah, she got a Bluetooth headset, and she has a shirt on with floppy disks flitting around on it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty funny.
If you want to live vicariously through your daughter, there's a good start.
That's awesome.
Next thing, it's really not expensive, cheap, but can bring you enjoyment if you like Linux. It's a Linux cheat shirt. How there's a lot of cheat sheets going around where you print it out, post it up to your wall, and it tells you a lot of important things you want to know about CSS, HTML, Java, or whatever. The shirt print is upside down. So you're sitting at your desk and all you gotta do is pull your shirt out and say, oh yeah, and then start typing.
Is that what it is? You just you just look down at your shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. I love these GIFs.
I know. That one, honestly, I would love to get. I know I'm not getting, but that would be very cool to have.
That's so awesome.
And immediately, you would instantly know anybody you're talking to if they have any idea about Linux at all.
I love it.
Because most people just look at it and say, well, you know that's upside down, right?
You wouldn't. Would you actually? Is there stuff on this shirt that you would need to look up? Like, would you use it if you had it?
I'm sure it would remind me of commands that I've forgotten
So
because there really is so many commands. Yeah, I can't keep track of
right. That's
them.
awesome. Love it.
The next one is just a button, and I'm only linking to it because it's so what's what I'm looking for? Outrageous, snarky, I think is the link I saw when I saw this. It's a button you can wear that says, the box says requires Windows Vista or better. So I installed Linux. And I gotta say, I kind of like that button.
It's the plainest looking button you've ever seen.
Yeah, and the picture you can tell is not even a real picture of the button.
Right. It's like freaking. It's not even a good picture.
I don't care. I would still buy it.
I wonder what it looks like in real life.
Well, and it's ThinkGeek. I personally feel pretty trustworthy with buying stuff from them.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you expect. It's not going to be, well, it probably is cheap, but not so cheap. I mean, it's only $3.99. The next one actually goes back to the link of the shirt, I believe. Cafe Press has a whole Linux section, and I gotta say, I love the very first link. Do you see that mug, Steve?
Yeah.
What does it say on it?
No, I will not fix your computer again. Use Linux.
I saw that. I loved it. There's stuff in here that's just good. Like they have a T-shirt of a penguin holding a fly swatter looking up at a Microsoft butterfly. There's a baby onesie outfit with a penguin on it. There's a whole bunch of just geeky stuff in here that if you at all like Linux, this was made for you. One of the things I like, it says, it's a t-shirt, it says, in a world without fences, who needs gates?
Oh my gosh.
And they have everything. Hats,
friends don't let
stickers.
friends use Windows.
Right. T-shirts, clocks, water bottles. I mean, a lot of stuff. And it looks like when you go down, it's showing 1 through 30 of 6,370.
Wow. Problem with Cafe Press is they're expensive. I was going to use them to do podnutz merchandising, but I still might. But they're just a little on the expensive side for their shirts.
They are a little expensive, and honestly, I don't know if they do any quote unquote publicity. I think if you pay them enough, they'll put you on their featured list. But you know, it's to me, it's good to buy stuff. It might not be good to promote stuff and get stuff made through them.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this is really cool stuff here. You want to get some swag? Go there, look at some stuff. I'm gonna look up one site real quick. See if I can find this.
What are you looking for?
I don't want to mention it till I find it.
Okay.
And okay, I think I found it.
All right.
Oh, this ain't it. I found a site offering Arch Linux swag. Arch Linux is a distribution of Linux that takes more gray matter to install than the normal one. You actually have to do some post-installation steps, and it's a little bit more difficult, but I can tell you the reward is much more worth it. Everything you install is going to be more geared towards your specific hardware, which means everything runs faster. So if you install Ubuntu, then install Arch, you'll see a definite speed improvement. But I wanted to find this site. If I find it, I'll put it in the notes. You can buy Arch Bling, I think was the right word, not swag. For instance, they had a ring with the Arch logo on it for $200.
It's good that you can't find it because nobody's gonna buy that, are they?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there's people who out there who feel really strongly about their Arch Linux. They will, and it's
Because
swag.
it's like an accomplishment.
Right. It's like, look what I got. I did find the link finally, so I'm going to paste it in the notes right now. And if you scroll down a little bit, the Arch Linux ring, beautiful silver ring, $160.
It is pretty cool looking.
I gotta say,
Gotta admit.
that's what I said. But they even have like hand carvings for like $15. Anything Arch related, they have it. They even have like messenger bags, and I'm not talking cheap messenger bags. These messenger bags, I know a guy that owns one, says it is the toughest bag he's ever had. He said I beat the living crap out of it, and it still looks and acts brand new.
Really?
And they're like $70. So if you know Arch, but you don't know about this site yet, I think you'll be happy. They even have pens, Arch Linux pens. But the best off, I gotta say, the very top thing, you can get Arch Linux laptop stickers, like the sticker on your laptop.
Oh, that's so cool. They look great. That's a great idea. I can't believe more people aren't selling stickers like this.
I agree, because it's the perfect size. You can see one next to an Intel sticker. Perfect size, and they're $1.75 for, I think it is a pack of 5.
One.
Maybe one. I know one of the things. They do state somewhere on this site, I'm 99% sure, most of the profits go back to the community.
I see. They have a super badass logo. I really like it.
I agree. The first time, here's pulling stuff back. Nokia N810. I bought it from a guy I met on Podnutz. I'm 99% sure. His name is C. Davis. C. Davis's logo on everything he's at is that Arch Linux logo.
That's right. That is right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And honestly, I didn't know that. I'm not going to play. I did not know that. When I saw him, I thought, damn, that's cool looking.
Yeah.
And then I bought that device from him. Then months later, I was like, oh, he's an Arch guy.
That's awesome.
So the people that like Arch, let me tell you something. You best not be talking bad about no Arch.
I'm sorry I even mentioned nobody would buy that ring. I feel a little bad about it right now.
Well, you and I both know everybody will buy anything out there. I mean, like head on, you know?
Yeah.
Head on. Head on.
Apply directly to the forehead.
Right, exactly. Right, people who buy that. The next two devices I wanted to mention just really quick. Everybody knows these devices. The Kindle. The Kindle is one of the most seamless devices, my wife has one, I've ever seen. It just works.
It does.
And it works wonderfully. The 3G connection and downloading books is seamless. It doesn't crash. It doesn't freeze. It doesn't lock up. The battery life is phenomenal. It just works. And the Roku device, which I know Russ Winter, you're my friend, Techie Geek, is passionate about his Roku. Loves it with a passion. And I got to say, the Kindle you can get for as little as $139. I believe that doesn't have the WhisperNet 3G. I think you got to pay $189 for that. And the Roku you can get for $59.
Wow.
I mean, for the price of a dinner at Outback, you could stream
Podnutz.
You could stream Podnutz. You could stream a
Netflix.
Whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
I got to get a channel on there. No, Hulu Plus, Amazon Video, Netflix, Pandora, NHL, and other things too.
Yeah, and I believe everybody right now is trying to be quiet about that's who they're trying to catch up to in usability and successfulness. I mean, the Boxy Box, the Popcorn Hour, Google TV, none of them are as complete as the Roku box. And for $59, you can plug it in, and Netflix just did a deal with I think it was NBC and Fox, which means you're going to now soon start to be able to, like 24 hours after the show premieres, watch it on Netflix.
Aha.
That's what their goal is.
That's a great goal. That's what's needed and wanted.
I agree. And for only $59, I tell you right now, Russ said this got spousal approval. Not, saying anything about his spouse. If his spouse is anything like my spouse, which I suspect computer-wise it is, because when he says, like me, go into a store and she says, oh, I like that TV. I said, that TV is probably running Linux. I get eyes rolling and stuff. When in fact, most TVs now, most big screen TVs now do have in the back of their in the back of their owner's manual, flip to the very back, there'll be a GNU public license because it's running Linux. His wife would roll her eyes at him. My wife does the same thing. He said, didn't have to explain anything to her. Plug it up to the TV, throw her the remote, and off to the races. Knows how to use it because it's that easy.
Yeah.
That's the device I'll tell anybody. If you have $50-$60 laying around and you're thinking, I could go to Ruth Chris, go get a steak. Get this device. I think you'll be extremely satisfied.
I think you're right.
And the last thing I'll say is, I did not even come close to scratching the surface of Linux holiday stuff you can bring into your house. I know people might overthink it and think, everything. No, you can get like a Harmony remote control that's running Linux. You can get portable little netbooks for your kids, or like your little V-Smile devices for your kids to play video games on. Guess what? It's running Linux. It really is everywhere. It's one of those things. It's so solid and successful, you don't even know it's there.
Hip hip hooray for Linux. That's what I feel like saying right now.
Yeah, it's cool, and honestly, I think it's going to keep slowly gaining popularity. Right now, computer market, end user market, it's just under 5%. In schools, it's just over 5%. And I think it's only a matter of time before the average intelligence of computer users is enough to make it more accessible for them to use.
I would like to see that happen, sincerely in the future.
I think it will, but it will not rule the world. It can't rule the world. Everything has its place. People need Windows for certain things. People need Mac for certain things. Ain't nothing going to kill those two. I don't think.
Never know. You never know.
As long as Jobs is alive, we know Mac.
All right, man. Anything else?
The last thing I just wanted to plug, Bruce Patterson at Distro Watch Podcast. He's really the voice of the podcast. All the content creation is done by other members of that place. Bruce, utterly cool guy, utterly smart guy, has connections into the open source Linux BSD world. I really can't comprehend. They're so deep. He has started a LUG, a Linux users group. Back in the day, that meant, third Saturday of the month, you had to, kiss your wife, go to the local library and sit down and listen to somebody talk for a while, and then discuss what you're doing on your computer and how to get it to work better and how did you solve this problem. Well, Bruce has decided to start an online LUG, which means anywhere you are in the world, if you have a computer or Android device, you can connect via Mumble. Mumble's a free client to download, and you can join in the LUG. He is getting, I don't want to say leaders from the open source world. He's getting people from the open source world with some stroke to come in and talk about issues with open source, how to fix things that are going wrong in the whole system, what's the future of open source, and about particular distributions and applications and protocols and services.
This is interesting. Where can people find out more about this? Because Mumble is a voice client.
Yeah. So, and it's like a community client where basically someone sets up a server for free and the Mumble client can just connect, and then you're in a conversation. Think of it when you were a kid and you would sit back on late night TV and you would see those commercials with the girls with the short dresses dancing and saying, "Call us now, 976 party." It's like that, only when you connect, there's going to be Linux Geeks in those. Yeah. And the next meeting, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't expect this podcast to be published by then, because I ain't pressuring you, Steve. The next lug is December 26th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. He always wants to do them on the weekend just because most people, that's their free time. If you just go to linuxbasics.com
with an X
and just register for a free account.
Linux Basics with an X. And you guys should know that already.
Yeah. Here's one of the things right now we have about the site that honestly I like. Everything that you post at that site, pretty much everything, is hidden from Google search engines or from someone just browsing the site. You have to create an account to get in and see some of the site. The advantage of that is we can publish the IP address where that Mumble server is going to be. We can freely type in our email address, and we don't have to worry about these bots coming by and scraping and getting spam.
Right.
The downside is you have to create an account. Now, the system we used in Drupal, it insists you put your age in. We don't care. We don't want to know your age. Put in your like 2 years old or you're 99. That doesn't matter. But if you want to join in the lug, which I got to say is the perfect place for newer people to just sit back, listen for a little bit, and then raise your hand and say, I got a question. I got this and this and this. Can I use Linux? Or anything. You can just drop in, ask a question, get a real person to give you a straight answer back.
That sounds like fun.
It is. And I got to say, Bruce is putting work into this. We only had, I think, one meeting so far. The turnout wasn't great. He was a little downside, but it's only the first one, man. You got to wait.
Exactly. I'll have this out before the 26th. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. Well, Dor, where can people find you if they want to contact you for whatever reason?
Well, they can go to Linux Basics. Hit me off there. They can doorgeek@gmail.com, doorgeek@podnutz.com. The Podnutz forums, you can PM me, irc.freenode.net #podnutz. You can hit me off there. Twitter.com/doorgeek. Steve McLaughlin on Facebook. Steve McLaughlin on dualityofman.org. Everywhere I can violate my own privacy, I'm pretty much there.
Very good. Thank you for bringing the Christmas goodies for us this week, Dor. That was fun.
No problem.
Once I get this cat out of the camera view, I'll switch it back to me. And you see her butt, basically. What I want to say is, anybody listening to the show, have a great holiday. We'll be back next week, right, Dor?
Oh, absolutely.
Same time, same place. That is going to be it for Linux for the rest of us for this week. We will see you guys next time.